I'd like to call to order tonight's meeting of the Gardner Zoning Board of Appeal. The date is June 21st, and it is 6:43. Before we begin tonight's hearing, I'd like to go over a few of the ground rules by which this board operates. In Gardner, 3 members of the Zoning Board of Appeals must be present to conduct a legal hearing. Applications will normally be heard in a sequence in which they appeared in a public notice. The board is under no obligation to adhere to that sequence. All hearings shall be open to the public, and no person shall be excluded unless he or she is considered to be a hindrance to the workings of the board. An applicant may appear in his or her own behalf or be represented by agent or attorney. The applicant or his or her representative shall present the case to the board. Representatives of the city shall be heard. Abutters to the property present at the hearing shall be heard. Those in opposition to the application shall be heard. The board must render its decision regarding variance requests within 100 days after the application is duly filed in the office of the city clerk. Members of the board must have the opportunity to direct appropriate questions during the hearing. The board regarding special permits must conduct a public hearing within 65 days after the application is duly filed in the office of the city clerk. The board must render its decision within 90 days after the public hearing. All 3 members of the board must vote in favor of the variance or special permit for it to be granted and approved. The right to appeal the decision of the board is provided in the Zoning Act. The information is available in the office of the city clerk. No variance or special permit or any modification, extension, or renewal thereof shall take effect until notification from the city clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the decision has been filed in that office and no appeals have been filed and is recorded in the Registry of Deeds. The burden for supporting the need for the variance or special permit rests with the applicant or representative of the applicant. The board requests that each person identify himself or herself as to name and address before addressing the board. Sitting on tonight's hearing, to my left is Mike Gary, zoning clerk. To my right, Randy Hagelin, and myself, Ray LaFond, as chair. This meeting will be taped. Does anyone object to the taping of this hearing? Have it noted no one is objecting. If you do have cell phones, please silence them, and we'll move forward. I'll make it known that there are no new cases this evening. They're all continuances, and they're all up for decision. So, there may be some additional questions that the board will ask. I know Mr. Parmenter said he had a couple of questions, so we'll open it up for your questions when we get to you.
Those bottom 3, we never close the hearings
On any of them? Or which 3?
on these 3.
Okay. All right, because if we get some issues, we can listen and then close them after and then
Yep.
move forward. We do have one withdrawal tonight, so I'm going to do that first, and we'll just move that one along. Okay, this one, the case of Donna Longo, 66 Brook Lane, deck lacks setbacks. Okay, she submitted, well, first of all, this case is still open, so I'm going to move to close this case.
Second.
Close the hearing, yes. Seconded to close the hearing.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to leave Mr. Parmenter open right now. I'll get to you. All right, so Longo is closed, and now I will read the letter. I'm going to move to request the board. She sent the letter on May 20th, 2022 to the zoning board members. We would like to retract our application for variance number 2022-05-03 without prejudice. Thank you, Donna Longo. Do I hear a motion to approve on allowing the withdrawal of this application without prejudice?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, any discussion? No discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, all opposed, no opposition. The application is withdrawn without prejudice. case before the board is case 2022-04-01, Alan Belanger, Blake Street, 161 Chelsea Street, for a variance amendment. And I'm going to read the application. Your application to amend a variance for a warehouse storage with professional office at 161 Chelsea Street, Gardner, Mass., parcel ID R17-20-16, located in the single-family residential 1 zoning district, is denied as it does not comply with the granted use variance dated 6/2/21. This request will require relief from the zoning board of appeals. Okay, now this one's closed.
Hearing is closed, that's correct.
All right, I'm going to ask my board members if they have any questions or comments regarding the request to amend his original variance granted in May 21. We did do a site visit. Several issues were discussed. Everybody was in compliance with the issues, so there was no issues that went unanswered. And Bob Oliver from the city submitted a letter noting some potential issues, and all those issues were addressed regarding paving, setback, landscaping, and all that. So those issues, when we met, were taken care of. Michael, you have any questions or comments?
No questions.
Randy?
No comments.
Nothing? Okay. I'll go through my little thing because it's here, and I'm just going to address any representatives of the city to be heard regarding this application. It's closed. All
The
set?
hearing is closed, Mr. Chairman.
All right. All right. Do I hear a motion to move on the application of Mr. Belanger for the modification of his variance that was granted?
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yep, Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
the applicant is looking for a determination if the approved use can be accessed through the Blake Street parcel. Let's make that clear, that he's not seeking any other changes, significant changes to the exterior from his previous application. The only request is that it be from
Blake Street.
access from Blake Street.
Yeah, and that was discussed when we were there, and originally, remember, it was going to be gravel, he's going to pave it now. And looking at the plans, he's got the shrubbery. He's put in the infiltration basin and all that, so that's the major issue for the modification from his original variance request.
The original variance request did not have access on Blake Street.
No, and that's the biggest change that came in.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, any other comments or discussion?
Because it was represented, I think, that, should we confirm that, and through a condition, that the driveway be paved?
I think we should put that in.
What about exterior lighting on that side of the building, because it's so close to the Funya property?
That he's gonna have, downward lighting. He listed, I don't remember the lumens, but
I don't recall either, but downward lighting. I think on the other side, wasn't he just calling for security lighting, motion
yes.
security?
Yeah. And I mean, either he can use, I would say he could look at security lighting here, or have downward lighting and not extending the lighting onto his abutters,
Or both. Motion detected, downward cast,
not impacting his abutters and neighbors.
something to that effect.
Okay, got those two?
Yeah.
Anything else? I mean, it's on his plans, he's got all the infiltration, he's got his proposed landscape.
I think in the original decision, there were hours of work.
comply with the
those-
same hours.
And maybe a note that it complies with all
All the
previous-
conditions
previous
issued.
issued conditions.
Will remain in effect. And I know initially we talked about was putting a gate off of Blake Street, but seeing there's very little traffic, there's either one or two houses after this, and I believe we decided the gate really wasn't necessary. If it does, he said he will install one, because he wants to protect his asset.
Now, what about, he's addressed Bob Oliver's
4 or 5
questions.
Yeah.
Do we need to codify those in a, any kind of condition?
Have you got them right there?
I mean, one of them would be the parking lots to be paved, because originally he was calling for a gravel parking lot.
Yep.
There were some other conditions here. I don't know if I have it.
Let's see if I can find it in here.
I don't have it.
It's gotta be in the file there. I don't have it.
I know one of the conditions was just a clarification.
We can simply make a condition that they
I've
satisfy
got
the
it right here.
requirements of. We just make a condition. that they
Comply with the
comply with the requirements of the city engineer.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
I'll just highlight them very quickly. Blake Street and Tar Street access both unaccepted private ways, application proposing to the rear of Blake Street. That's a statement. Proposed parking spaces and driveways are required to be paved and provided with adequate drainage. In his new plans, he has the basins and the tarring. Parking spaces shall be located at least 10 feet from the property lines. They adjusted that to meet that. Plan submitted does not indicate adequate snow storage area for the proposed parking. His new set of plans show where the snow is going to be restored. And if it becomes excessive, then they'll remove it.
Should we make that as a condition?
Yep.
That's a typical one.
Yep. Any activity that disturbs 10,000 square feet or more of land requires a storm water management permit. Stormwater management.
Whether he applies and meets a trigger for a general permit, that's, I don't think it's under the purview of this board.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he's disturbing more than 10,000 square feet area.
I don't think so.
I don't think it's gonna be an issue.
That's why I said whether or not he meets the trigger.
I think what we could easily do is say that he must comply with conditions 2 through 5 on the memorandum submitted by Bob Oliver.
With the date of March
March
30th.
30th. March 30th. Okay, Mike, got that?
What, within 2 through what?
He's got to comply with
Conditions 2 through 5.
conditions 2 through 5 on Mr. Oliver's memorandum of dated March 30th.
I don't recall if we had hours of construction,
I think we should put something in.
which is a kind of one of our standard ones, but I don't recall if that was a,
I don't think it was brought up, but we can put it in. We can say you can go through Monday through Saturday, Monday through Friday. 7 to 5. Saturday. 8 to 12. 7 to 12.
I'd be okay with 8 to 3.
8 to 3. Sunday, no construction, or Sunday or holidays, no construction.
All right, what were the hours again?
Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. Saturday, 8 to 3. Sunday and holidays, none. Not allowed.
Now, the hours of operation, this is a storage facility, so you're going to say that people can't go in and
No, this is
their-
hours, this is hours
Oh, just the
construction.
construction,
Yeah.
all
Like
right.
constructing the parking areas.
Well, I
and
think we need to
drainage.
be clear.
Yep. Hours of construction.
Yeah, just put hours of construction.
I think, memory serves me, I think we had operating hours as a condition.
He did.
Yeah,
And the other-
that's in
yeah.
his original.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that as the original conditions
Yep.
stay in force. Anything else?
No, but I'll make the caveat that I'll look and see if I can find the original decision, see if I've got it, so that, just so we don't conflict with the hours. If there's a conflict, we'll leave it alone, if that's okay.
Yep.
Well, we can just make the state comment now, even for approval, that we will confirm the hours with the original variance.
And if it was
And if
not,
there is a
was not included, it'll
not
be,
included, then we'll put it in. Okay,
yeah, I'm good with that.
you all set, Mike?
I am.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Move we accept the
Approve the
request
amendment to the variance?
for an amendment with conditions.
The finding. We make a finding to approve the
Yeah.
previously issued variance or something.
Okay, because it's in application for a use variance for modification of the original. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No opposition? Variance with condition granted. Okay, the next case. 2022-04-02, special permit, Tony Molina. It's continued, but that case is, that case is closed. 376 Chestnut Street, multifamily dwelling. Do I hear a motion to move on the application of Tony Molina?
So
Or-
moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion. One of the issues that came up from one of the abutters had a major concern regarding the rear of the property. He wanted to have either a fence or some kind of shrubbery, et cetera, to sort of limit the vision back there and also to protect the safety of his grandchildren if they're playing in the backyard. The board chose not to enforce that he would be required to put in a fence. But the board requested that he meet with Mr. Meager, and they have met, and they have come to an agreement that Mr. Molina is going to install, I'll call it a green fence. It's going to be a cypress, according to Mr. Molina, it's going to be cypress shrubbery to prevent access to his property, from the abutting property. Also, there's a stone wall to the side on Mr. Meager's property, and Mr. Molina has agreed to repair that small stone wall because it posed a danger to kids playing and also to the back of Mr. Molina's property, so he is going to repair that. We all visited the property. He has his parking spaces lined up. Major repair going on the property. In my opinion, it's a major improvement to the property itself, which I think is just short of probably being necessary to be torn down. His plan is significant. His statement to me was, I want to make this a property that people will be proud of to live in, and improve that section of Chestnut Street. So he's focused on that. And it'll be up to Mr. Jean to make sure he takes care of him doing what he's supposed to do. So, any other comments? And this is being a special permit. He did address all the issues regarding traffic. It's compatible to the neighborhood, many multifamilies there. They're connected to city sewer and water.
And I think the issue is that it's been an abandoned building, so it's lost its grandfathering into the
And
area.
it's fallen in major
And he is
disrepair.
going to restore the building and probably make it better than it ever was. So parking is not an issue, so I think it's a great
Well,
project.
he's taking care of trash and everything.
Yep.
They're putting in all new windows, doors, everything, so.
What about exterior lighting? He indicated he was going to put ball and lighting, but I don't know if we want to hold him the ball and lighting if we just say all exterior lighting shall be downcast and provide adequate safety to the
I would
residents.
put that as a safety feature and for the rear. He has plenty of area to store snow. at this point, depending on the winter. But I think we can't really dictate, where he's gonna do it and how much, but he has adequate space to store quite a bit of snow. I would like to see the condition about exterior lighting in the parking, and either the driveway side or parking for a safety issue, and not to impact any of his abutters.
He mentioned bollards. Do we want to hold him to bollards, or do we?
If he mentioned it, look, he volunteered, so let's let him use them.
Applicant to install bollards as
Yep. And if there becomes an issue in the future, I'm sure,
as stated at the,
as stated by applicant.
as stated by applicant.
Yeah, and then Mr. Jean will talk with him. if
Provide
there's an
adequate
issue.
illumination.
You all set, Mike?
Sure.
Okay, all those in favor of granting the application for special permit for Mr. Molina, with the conditions that we have attached? Mike, I'll ask you just to state the conditions for the record.
The condition is that exterior lighting is to be put in place. It will be ballard lighting to be downcast and provide adequate illumination and not affect the neighbors.
Yeah.
And I would just put in that he's going to install the shrubbery barrier as discussed with his abutter,
As agreed to with his
as
abutter.
agreed with Mr. Earl Meager.
Install green screen or something, I don't know.
Yeah, he said the shrub, that cedar will just grow and fill in and make his own green wall. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so all those in favor with the conditions, as I said, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No opposition? Special permit granted. Okay, the next case before the board. Mr. Parmenter.
Now this, we left the hearing open. Right. In the event that additional information needed to come forth.
Then I'll close it.
Yep.
Okay. You had an application to construct and operate an in-law apartment at 85 Chelsea Street, Gardner, Mass., parcel ID R17-25-9, located in a single-family residential district, SFR1, denied as it does not comply with Chapter 675, Attachment 1-6, Table of Uses, number 84, in-law apartment in a detached structure. Zoning code states that your requested application requires a special permit use in SFR1 zoning district. Mr. Parmenter, you stated and requested the board you have some additional information you'd like to provide.
This is the only thing I really want to ask. If we were to go a two-car garage with a smaller in-law, would it affect me coming back again?
You are asking just for an in-law apartment at this time?
It's just a small in-law
But
apartment.
you did not mention originally a garage?
No, it's gonna be a two-car garage instead of three-car. It's gonna be a smaller unit is what it's gonna be.
Okay.
If we have to come back, then I'm gonna probably,
Well, I mean,
The application is for an in-law apartment.
yeah.
up to 1,500 square feet. It's
Yeah.
on it. So it's,
Yeah, I don't.
but, if
I
we
don't see
decide
the
to
issue.
approve it, we can say up to
It's the
1,500.
proposed garage.
Yeah, it's right here on this.
The garage isn't the issue, it's the in-law apartment because it's a single-family residential area.
Yes.
That's correct.
Is it gonna impact the apartment at all?
It's gonna be smaller, that's all. That's all it's gonna be. It's gonna be one-car garage less, and it's basically gonna sit, the same lighting, the whole thing. It's all gonna depend on my finances this year, but if it's gonna require to come back again and again, it's just gonna be smaller is all it's gonna be.
All right, so let me just try to recap what you told me, or
Okay.
told us.
Yes.
You're gonna continue to have your in-law apartment.
Yes,
It's gonna be a little smaller.
yes.
Instead of multi-cars, it's gonna be one-car garage.
Two-car
Two
garage,
cars, so
yes.
not three,
Not three.
two. So you're not exceeding anything, you're not really changing your requested use.
No, it's all gonna
Just
be
shrinking
exact
the
same.
size.
Yes, that's it.
I mean, we could look at it as, looking at possibly granting this not to exceed the original application.
That would be
Right.
my recommendation.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be beautiful.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it.
Unless the building commissioner has any feedback or thought on that.
I don't have a problem with that caveat. I think that'll cover it, and then.
I think it's a very workable caveat.
Yeah.
You're shrinking
At the end of the day,
it.
it's up to me to make sure it complies with everything else
Right,
anyway.
and it's a less impact
He
to the
will,
And I
neighborhood.
will.
Less impact to the neighborhood and the abutters.
Yep.
Okay. When his property was visited, I did a drive-by. When people visited
Yep.
personal, is there any issues that you came up with or talked about?
No, I mean,
What about
it's-
lighting or anything?
It was pretty straightforward. Closest house on the right-hand side, I think, was the garage.
Yeah, there's
There's a
certainly plenty of
garage.
room to
I don't think,
put the
you
building
know,
up.
Plenty of room. I don't think any lighting would have effect on the neighbors or,
Are you going to install any lighting on the garage?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yep.
Or a safety
It's-
issue with the entry door and?
Yep, that's, yep.
Okay. All right, is there no other questions, comments?
not from the board.
All right, I want to move to close this hearing.
Ask the questions if anybody out there has
Yeah.
any questions.
Forgot that. Any representatives of the city to speak regarding this application?
I have nothing further, Mr. Chair.
Any abutters to the property present who would like to speak in favor of this application? Any interested parties who would like to speak in favor of? Anyone here who would like to speak in opposition to this application? For the record, there were no comments on for or against. Okay. Board members have any further questions or comments?
No.
Do I hear a motion to close this meeting? Or this
So
case?
moved.
Second?
So moved.
Okay, any discussion?
No.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now I'm gonna move for a decision. Do I hear a motion for a decision?
So moved.
The- Second, Randy?
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. One of the conditions that will state that Mr. Parmenter has presented information he'd like to downsize to a two-stall garage, a smaller apartment. However, the board looks, instead of looking at coming in with a new case, is given the caveat that the condition would be, if he moves forward, it will not be any greater than the original, the size any greater than the original application states.
Yep.
Okay? Okay. Any other comments,
No.
discussion?
No?
So I'll call for the vote. All those in favor of granting the variance to Mr. James Parmenter for the construction of an apartment, an in-law apartment with a detached garage, say aye.
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 All those opposed? No opposition? Variance granted.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
All right, since you're here, well, you can list at the same time. I just want to mention this.
Yes.
When I did the reading,
Yes.
if you do have any issues or anything you want to appeal or anything, you can get your information from the city clerk's office. But however, a decision will be written within 14 days, sent to you.
Okay.
At that point, you have 20 days that you shouldn't do anything, because you can appeal, your abutters can appeal. And once the 20 days expired, you'll be notified whether someone has filed or has not filed.
Okay.
And then you can move forward.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you, have a great evening.
Good luck.
Last but not least, okay. The next case before the board. Case 2022-05-02, special permit, Robert Ouellette. It's a continuance, the case is still open. There is some additional information that's going to be provided to the board. We determined that during our site visit this recent Saturday, so the board would like to get to that. And it's for 69 Lincoln Street for a dance studio. Mr. Ouellette, agent or attorney?
Yes.
State your name and address for the record.
Robert Ouellette, A. Francis Contracting, 69 Lincoln Street, Gardner, Mass.
Okay,
Owner? Yeah.
I'm going to just say, we met, the board did request a set of plans if possible, but your architect was away. They could not do the plans in 48 hours.
Yes, yeah,
So you agreed to provide I'll call it a narrative,
sure.
that will state what you're planning to do, and then you will complete a set of plans and submit them to Mr. Jean, and we'll see if they comply. And I did state to you, going forward, if we look at this in a positive manner and approve it, your narrative will become part of the decision,
Correct.
and the issues you have in there will become conditions of the approval, and you'll have to abide by those.
Sure.
Okay? And I know the applicant, Ms. Wilson, has some documents she wants to submit, and after his presentation, we'll allow you to submit them.
Okay.
Mr. Ouellette, you're on.
Okay, so the only thing that's changed from the original drawings that I sent, we had done some egress areas that had changed. Originally, we were thinking of entering from Cross Street, but now we feel that Lincoln Street would be a better option, just because there's much less traffic on Lincoln Street and less travel. So our main drop-off area is going to be facing Lincoln Street. Right here, you can see this here. We'll make a set of stairs, an egress stairs from the inside of our parking facility here. Excuse me, that'll. Oh, this is not going to come up right here. Thank you. Oh, you want to use the windows.
The leg's collapsing.
Okay?
So so we felt like this area would be better for the kids, the drop-off area. We have an existing deck up there currently right now. If it's required, we actually even have a handicap accessible ramp that would get us to the same location. We have another means of egress, which would be over here. There's an existing dock right now. We're going to actually take one half of this dock away to increase our parking facility over here. The way this thing is lit, we have current lighting at all egresses currently right now. What we're thinking of doing, the only other lighting that we would do down lighting, and this general area here where the egress is for the entryway. So we'd have down lighting the stairwell, and not shining onto one of our neighbors to make this area safe. So most likely at the base will be some main light, and then down lighting in this area here for safety. Otherwise, currently right now, the parking lot is well lit. We have an overhead light similar to a street light. Currently right now, that lights the parking lot up sufficiently, and each door that I have currently right now has an additional light. So, but we will address downlighting over there. The other area that was concerned through the walk when you did a site visit was the existing parking spaces that we have currently right now, and to put some type of a safety berm to Cross Street, for safety reasons. So we would make that part of your record that we would add some berm work there to just as a safety precaution. Secondly, we're gonna remove the actually existing stairs that we have currently right now. They've been there forever, and they're out of compliance, so we just thought we'd just take them out in their entirety, and then doll up the entryway of that. We've got a lot of overgrowth that we want to take care of, make a nice presentation, similar to one of our neighbors, what he's done on the left. Otherwise, our next step here is to get a professional engineer to look at this and meet all our code compliance for the building department. That's basically on our end, and they'll provide us with what we need to do. On the second floor, we will be putting, in the dance studio, we will be putting another bathroom, which would be just a sink and a toilet up there. We're gonna make it code compliant. We'll probably even give us some because we have a lot of room up there, so we can give some handicapped accessibility in terms of the size of the unit and all that. But besides that, I think that's pretty much the overall.
Okay, you had mentioned the ceiling. You're gonna redo the ceiling on
So-
the second floor?
Yes, so in terms of remodeling the building, we have an inch, our egress, currently right now, from the dock. We're gonna build a wall to actually encompass the second means of egress. So in that egress, we also have, you can see here, we have a conveyor belt that's active. It was the old conveyor belt that Leo used to bring furniture up there. So we're going to add a double door system below there. You can see here. We're going to build a wall. This will be locked at all times. And then this will be encapsulated. We're going to put another door at the top, which will be locked at all times. But it's great for accessibility if we've got to get things upstairs, for the dance club. This will be a hallway. There'll be another entranceway into my space here on the first floor, back into my office over here. The upstairs, we're going to be stripping the ceiling. It's the old horsehair plaster that'll come off. We're going to insulate that properly. We will be building, obviously the bathroom upstairs. The entranceway to the vestibule has to be opened up to the first floor. So there's remodeling there, and most likely there's going to be some type of a floor finish put on for the dance club. I haven't talked to Rebecca in terms of what she's going to need of that, but we'll bring will be code compliance in terms of electricity. Lighting will be code compliant also. Any other questions?
I think you covered it. I do
Yeah.
have one question, though.
Yes, yeah.
On the Lincoln Street side by your entrance and egress,
Yes, yep,
you have that huge concrete block that sticks out from the building.
correct, yeah.
You had mentioned you were gonna determine what you were gonna do with that.
Yeah, so it's more of it certainly adds a support. It was poured there for a reason for the building. We were looking at it structurally. I don't know whether they just over poured it. It's an ugly thing. So we were just thinking
Free
that-
concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just
extra.
thinking of dolling it up a bit, yeah. We can't certainly take it apart because I think it's a structural member of the church, yeah.
My question now, we spoke about parking.
Yes, yeah,
In your existing parking lot up top,
yes, yeah.
how many spaces at 9 by 18 can you fit in there and have adequate turning?
So currently, right now, let's take a look at this. I think I had done a diagram of this earlier. Yeah. Hopefully I brought it. It's not on this particular drawing, but by a limited, I think we've got 10 current spots.
It says in the box, it says 10 spaces there. And
Yeah,
Oh,
10,
right
oh,
here,
okay,
yeah.
here we go. 10 spaces here.
And
Pardon?
two down.
2 down here, yep. And with this, we have 10 here. We're gonna actually add, this actually adds, so we've got a total of 12.
All right, and I think, Ms. Wilson, you had conversations with the church? You just want to update the board as
Yes.
conversations?
So I spoke with the church across the way, and they said that we would be allowed to use their parking. So they have definitely over 20 spaces there that would be available for us to use. I do have pictures of it if you want to see it.
Did they,
I know it from using it.
did
Oh,
they,
okay.
did they put
No,
anything in
and
writing
You
to
have
you?
more than 20 back there.
Yes, it looks
Much
like
more.
probably 30 at least.
Did,
Yeah.
did they
It's
provide you
directly
anything in
across
writing?
from Cube Smart on, I call it Lincoln Street Extension as it goes in.
Yeah.
But, what is the but on that? You,
It was a verbal agreement that as a good neighbor, we could use their parking.
you want to update the board regarding Manny's discussions there and Cube Smart on the
Sure.
lot right across the
There's a
street?
great lot right next door. So that, I did speak with Manny's, and they told me that that was written into their lease, and they told me to talk to the building manager. So I did talk to him, Kevin, he's a great guy too, but he said that he would talk to someone higher up in Manny's and also the building owner, and they didn't want us to interfere like with the lease that they already wrote up with Manny's. So,
And actually on Cross Street and Lincoln Street, there is, I know it's not, doesn't belong to you, or being leased by you, but there's more than adequate parking
yes.
for that. And those streets are maintained pretty well in the wintertime. Question of how many cars probably stay during a dance lesson?
Yes, okay. So, I made you all these folders if you if you want to look, and I wrote up a schedule. So, for each class, I wrote how many parents, if it was a full class, how many parents typically will stay. So that would be on the.
So you want to submit
I wanna
3
submit-
folders
yeah,
to all
3
this?
folders. They're all the same.
Okay.
But on that first page, I have our schedule. So as you can see, it's mostly just like the little kids, 3 to 5-year-olds. Some of the 5 to 7-year-old parents stay, but then the older ones, for the most part, they just get dropped off.
Okay.
The 4:40 or 4:15 class
Yep.
ends at what time?
Oh, so it will go to, that one's a half hour.
So there's potentially an overlap between any of your classes, so.
Some of them
So
are.
the maximum,
But like on
like you would potentially on a Tuesday be eight cars. On
no,
a Wednesday it would be 14
not at
cars
the same
because.
time.
Wait,
Meaning this class would leave at when this class is coming in.
I understand, but, okay, the parents are dropping, maybe a number, instead of number of parents, maybe the question is better asked as the number of students in each class.
So, our idea is the parents will drive up here, drop their child off so they can run up the stairs. So they all, like, say there's 12 kids in a class. We don't want all 12 parents pulling into that
I
parking lot.
understand, but
Yes.
you have 12 parents dropping off students.
Yes,
At the same time, you have 12 students leaving the facility and being picked up by 12 parents. So you have potentially 24 cars.
yeah, potentially. A lot of the kids do carpool though, and they do stay for multiple classes. So, say someone gets dropped off at, like say Saturday morning for this class. So say these 7 parents, 6 of them will stay. So it's not all, and then say another one will be dropping.
Okay,
kids
so,
off.
but again, to my point, you have here 6 parents staying, and at 10:15 you have 6 more parents staying. So you have a turnover.
It would be the
so
same
you-
parents. But yes, at some
No,
point there is switching
a
classes.
tiny dancer is
Yeah.
3 to 5 too. But then you jump 5 to 7, so that's potentially 10.
Potentially, yeah. If it's not,
So-
if there's no siblings, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of doubling up
Yeah, you have to.
because of
you
your
have to
overlap. How
count-
much
Yeah.
overlap do you have in your classes?
Yeah, for the most part, they'll come and they'll stay for a few hours. So there wouldn't be, I would say, a large overlap of parents pulling in. I do believe there's plenty of spaces for the parents to park to let their kids off, even just on that street too, if they wanted to park there.
I think one thing we.
24 cars may bring you up to Line Street.
Yeah, but I think
That's
what
where
we
my
have
head's
to
going.
keep in mind what her parking situation is today.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how much
Which is almost-
nicer it is.
I,
now.
I've driven by when classes are
even
letting
if
out, and
there's
it's dangerous. You have kids running every which way, and
Yeah.
it's not an ideal situation. And
So we do normally have the younger kids lined up with like a back-to-back, say with like an older kid class. So say there's like the 5 to 7-year-olds are leaving, and there's 7 parents there. They would be in the parking lot, and for the 7 and 9-year-olds, most of them would just get dropped off here. So it wouldn't be like the 5 to 7-year-old parents would be in this line too. They would be in the parking lot, already inside, ready to pick up their child. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me
Like,
put,
if the younger parents are probably, I would guess, parking in the parking lot. The older parents, the parents of the older kids would be more of the drop-off.
right now, what percentage of your students, their parents drop them off and leave?
Oh, I would say 75%. Or,
You see that changing if this new location, if you get it?
no, because the lobby's smaller than what we currently have.
Yeah, I missed the light, you didn't, I didn't hear it. You've got a small area in there on the first floor
Yeah.
that
Here.
the parents can sit and watch a video, a
Yeah.
television,
Yeah.
and that's not huge.
No.
You know, what's the seating capacity that you're proposing in there?
If, I would say probably 6 or 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
6 or 7 there comfortably, yeah.
So, keeping that in mind,
Yes.
you've got an overlap of people coming. There's no place for them to sit, because you can get 7 in there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they
Sitting.
sit out in their car somewhere,
For the parents, you're saying, or the kids?
Yeah. the parents.
Yes.
So I'm just thinking, your maximum capacity, we'll say, is 7 parents sitting in there.
Yeah. So,
Other than that, anybody coming, except for the little ones, they're probably gonna drop them off, and we'll see you in an hour.
yes.
They're gonna leave, or they'll park on Lincoln Street
That's what I'm thinking.
or
yeah.
Cross Street,
Yep.
which they can do.
Yes.
So,
I think Cross Street is gonna be pretty critical, that parking space directly in front.
well, I know how it was with church there.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, they parked on both sides on Cross Street.
yes, yeah.
So, Randy, you have any more questions or comments, or?
that was the biggest question, was the overlap. I mean, one other option is to put a 10-minute flex time between the ending of one class and the starting of another class, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Now we do, so normally, a lot of the older, the kids don't get dropped off, say, exactly at their time. So if their class starts at 4:15, they're usually there,
At 4.
yeah, 4:15, yeah, whatever time each, like some days it's 4:45, 4:15. Thursday we start at 4. So sometimes they're there a little earlier than the class, say 10 or 15 minutes earlier, and the dancers just come in, and they just sit and watch the other class.
How
So
many-
it's not like they're all coming at the exact same time.
I understand. How many students can you anticipate accommodating in a class?
How many can I accommodate?
Let's rephrase that. Accommodate could be 50. What is your comfortable class
Yes.
number of
A
students?
comfortable class would be 10 to 12. Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise, then you have to hire additional people to work with the additional number of children.
Yes. Yeah.
But your plan is to have multiple classes going on, right?
Two studios. Yes.
And one of them probably is upstairs that you're going to remodel off the main floor,
Yeah, could be, yes.
when we
yeah.
looked at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I just look at your parking, I
Is the
know where
challenge.
Randy's coming from. But you have much better parking than you do now, and you have more than adequate on-street parking.
I think the parents would be very grateful for
Even
this
in-
parking
Even in the winter,
situation.
you would have enough on-street parking.
Yeah,
And you've got the church,
yes.
if you
Yes.
have to direct them to,
And now the parents park so far away and walk their little kids up the street, so they're,
now this
you
is
know,
a
it won't
question,
be a
this is a
change.
question you might not know.
Okay,
What are the hours of the services at the church?
I would say Sunday. Sunday,
Probably Sunday is,
Yeah, usually see them Sunday, maybe on a Saturday night or something if they have some type of function. But I haven't seen it beyond that. Yeah.
you have no Sunday classes,
no.
okay? And everything else is during the week, and very little church activity during the week.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Do you want me to, can I submit pictures too? Oh,
Of course,
I do have letters from the abutters too, the people touching the property.
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay. And then I have just pictures of different times during the day of Cross Street, and I think one time I even did Maple Street. And then also I have in here, just a picture of where the drop-off area would be, and then the church parking lot too. And that's, that white truck's not there. So I'll submit that.
Okay. I mean, that seems to be probably the bigger issue here, but I think in my opinion, it's a resolvable issue. Because there's plenty of parking on and off street and on another parcel of property
Yep.
that they have. And you said you may continue discussions with CubeSmart and Manny if you need to.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna read this one letter right now. And I think it really addresses what we're talking about on the parking. And this gentleman is probably one of the most impacted person or people in that area. June 14th, 2022. I have no objection to the proposed dance studio location at 69 Lincoln Street. Robert Whipple, 185 Cross Street, Gardner.
And he's direct to butter.
Direct abutter, and that's some of the parking. He only has parking on Maple and Cross.
Yes,
He doesn't have a driveway or a garage to put anything in.
that's true. Yeah.
If anything, his parking would be impacted.
He doesn't have a driveway?
I don't think so.
There is an off street.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, I never saw a garage or driveway there.
there's not a garage, but.
So, I mean, he's one that would be most impacted
Correct, yeah.
by, an abutter or
Yeah.
something. Because the other people going up Lincoln Street either have a garage, a driveway, or they're on the street.
Yep.
Okay, in your packet, Ms. Wilson, you mentioned you have some letters from
Yes, so
abutters,
I-
et cetera.
Yep, so I see you, it looks like you already have that first letter, that they maybe emailed it to you or sent it to you. So the first few are from city officials. I
I've
put a
I've
little
got
paperclip
one
around
from
it.
the mayor.
Yep, one from the mayor and.
One from
the
Councilor
city
Gurnall
council
Howard.
president. And then the next one's from a city councilor, Alex Sternalaus. And then I have
Okay,
previous mayor, Mark Hawk.
okay. And how many letters do you have from abutters and interested parties and people?
I have about 30 letters that printed out. Some said that they would send them to you directly, though. So I'm
Nope,
hoping you
they
get
can
those.
give them to you, they can send them whatever. But in this file, then there's about 35 letters, not counting the city officials.
Yeah.
What I'd like to propose to the board members and to you is, first of all, are any of them in opposition?
No.
Okay. It would take a long time to read 35 letters. I'm going to take them into the record and record that we have 35 letters in the minutes from interested parties. Anybody who wants to read them, they're available in the office of the city clerk. So one, no one is opposition, they're all for, and there's a lot of them. So anybody interested in reading them can access them in the city hall, city clerk's office, the building commissioner's office in zoning
Okay.
can read them. Anybody have any opposition to that?
No.
There's only a couple I do want to read. I did read Mr. Whipple's.
Okay, great.
I did make the comment that Counselor Harden did call me last night due to a meeting conflict. She could not be here, and she had not prepared a written response, but she was in 100% favor of this happening. So now I'm going to read you these letters. June 17th, 2022, Chairperson, Raymond F. LaFawn, Zoning Board of Appeals, City Hall Annex, 115 Pleasant Street, Room 101, Gardner, Mass. Regarding 69 Lincoln Street, Just Dance, Performing Arts Center parking variance. Dear Chairperson LaFawn, we are writing to convey our support for Just Dancing Performing Arts Center, Just Dance, request for parking variance at 69 Lincoln Street, Gardner. The 12 off-street parking spots and the on-street parking available at 69 Lincoln Street fit the parking needs and address the current parking challenges for Just Dance. Currently located at 48 Parker Street, Just Dance has relied on on-street parking in downtown Gardner for the parking closest to their business. Ms. Rebecca Wilson, owner and artistic director of Just Dance, has informed us that the Coptic Orthodox Church located across the street from 69 Lincoln Street will allow her to use some of their parking spaces if necessary. Neighboring properties have also provided her with letters of support for her business move to 69 Lincoln Street. Ms. Wilson provided us with an attached schedule for the number of parents who stay at Just Dance. While their children are taking dance class lessons and requiring a parking spot during that time, while other dancers are dropped off and picked up by their parents. We respectfully request your consideration of a parking variance at 69 Lincoln Street for Just Dance Performing Arts Center. Thank you for your time and attention to the matter. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. Michael J. Nicholson, Mayor, City of Gardner. Elizabeth J. Kozinskis, President, City Council. Next one I have is this is from City Councilor Alexander Durnalowitz, 91 West Broadway, Gardner, Mass. Chairperson Raymond LaFawn, Zoning Board of Appeals, City Hall Annex, 115 Pleasant Street, Room 101, Gardner, Mass. Regarding 69 Lincoln Street, Just Dance Performing Arts Center parking variance. Dear Chairperson LaFawn, I'm writing to you in support of the parking variance Just Dance Performing Arts Center is seeking at 69 Lincoln Street. The owner of Just Dance Performing Arts Center, Ms. Rebecca Wilson, is relocating her business from downtown Gardner to this new location. The existing 12 off-street parking spaces at 69 Lincoln Street will address the parking needs of the business. While some parents stay for their children's dance classes, others just drop off and pick up their child. If there is an occasional need for additional parking, the church across the street has informed Ms. Wilson they will allow her to use their lot. She also has letters of support from her neighboring properties. I respectfully request the Zoning Board of Appeals request this matter thoroughly and work with Ms. Wilson to come to an appropriate resolution. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Sincerely, Alexander Durnalowitz, Gardner City Councilor. And my last letter that I'll read, June 17th, 2022. Rebecca Wilson, Just Dance Performing Arts Center, 48 Parker Street, Gardner, Mass. Letter of recommendation. To whom it may concern, I am pleased to offer this letter of recommendation for Rebecca Wilson and Just Dance Performing Arts Center. It is my understanding Ms. Wilson is looking at a location at 69 Lincoln Street. This same location was used as a warehouse facility for LaChance Furniture and most recently as the home to a contracting business. While the hustle and bustle of Simplex, formerly located diagonally across the street, has waned, this business will fit in nicely in this neighborhood. It does not seem that long ago Ms. Wilson received a standing ovation when the Zoning Board of Appeals approved her variance for the Casa La Grassa building. The neighborhood came out in force at that meeting to ask a few questions, but really to unanimously support Just Dancing Performing Arts Center. I see a great deal of similarity between that building and this building on Lincoln Street. I hope the Zoning Board of Appeals finds a way to support this worthy local business. If you or anyone you present this to have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to contact me. All the best, Mark Hawk, 30 Fairlawn Ave, Gardner, Mass. Okay, so those I've entered right into the minutes. The other 30 plus, they are going there, I'm stating they're entered into the minutes, but they can be viewed in the office of the building commissioner. And you do have a couple of letters from some of your students. And I will just hold it up because we're video recording. This is from one of the young ladies who is being taught by Ms. Wilson, strongly recommending approval.
Great.
And there is one more. I just saw it a minute ago, but very, very similar to this. So, that's what I have for submissions for this. And I will hold it up right now. Here it is, a heart with Just Dance on it. Another one of the students who has strong support for your business. So I got to commend you, first of all, of getting your students involved in this and, really paying attention to it. So I'm going to open it up to any board members, any questions. I know you had the parking. I want to make sure you're comfortable, you're satisfied, any other issues.
Mr. Lett, right now you've got, 3, 4 existing of your own vehicles in that lot. Are they staying there, or you're gonna move them on?
Yeah.
I think some of them are trailers, or,
Yeah, they're just, we just sold a bunch of them. So one guy came in
I'm just
and
curious.
bought out the lot, so we need to get him all his documentation so we get him off, yeah. We have another facility in Hubbardston that houses all our, I own a farm business, an excavation company also. So we keep we're just gonna bring the trailers, bring everything up to our lot, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no heavy equipment or
No.
construction equipment stored on site.
But that perhaps raises a question of how many of your employees, you and any of your staff, will be parked in that lot
So, yeah, so
at
we're
the same
usually
time.
out of there roughly around 4 o'clock. So it's a good transfer of our vehicles to their vehicles. So.
Okay.
And I have an accountant that comes in, I have an office manager, and my architect now is more
Zooming?
zooming than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
And they could park on Lincoln Street.
yes.
How many parking spaces do you require for you and your staff?
So we would have two, me and another teacher, always there at another time. But we wouldn't park in the parking lot. We would park probably down the street or in the church parking lot. Similar how we do now. We don't park right in front of the studio.
Okay, well, this case is open. It is a special permit. I think Mr. Ouellette pretty much addressed all the issues. Parking seems to probably have been the biggest issue, and what changes were going to be made to the building. I think you detailed those very well. We've got them noted. As I said, if it's approved, they will be attached to the decision as conditions and subject to review by the building commissioner. So any other questions right now before I close it?
Nope, ask the questions of the audience.
Okay. Any representatives of the city to speak regarding this application?
I have nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any abutters to speak regarding this application? Any
Steve's not
interested
an abutter.
parties?
Steve's not an abutter.
No. Any interested parties who would like to speak either for or against this application?
I have nothing to say on the application.
Sir, what is your name and address, please?
Stephen Rockwood, 310 Pearl Street, Gardner.
Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to submit a for or against for this application? Have it noted that in the audience right now are two municipal employees in the building commissioner's office and an interested party, Mr. Rockwood. No one else is present except for our IT guy.
He counts, by the way.
He could be an interested party. Says no.
No,
Okay. Anything else, Randy? Mike?
nothing.
Do I hear a motion to move to close this meeting?
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? None? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? No opposition? Meeting closed. Now I'm going to move for a decision. Do I hear a motion to move on a decision for a variance? I mean,
Special
excuse me, a
permit.
special permit to Mr. Roulette and the dance studio, and really addressing the parking and the use.
So moved.
Seconded.
Okay, discussion. Here's your chance.
I don't know, I'm just glad to get it out of the downtown.
That's a good point, Mike.
I don't know, it added a certain amount of life to downtown, though.
It did. Yeah. Not necessarily
And also-
pleasant when everything's changing and getting out and trying to get through the downtown, and I understand the need for the move, and I think this will, after going through the upstairs, I think it would be an adequate facility, I would guess. As being a non-dancer, I would assume that it would fit your needs quite well.
I do have a question. The building you're in currently, is it undergoing any renovation, or will it be going under any renovation in the near future? Because a number of those buildings has been purchased.
The one that.
You're in
Parker
currently.
Street? Well, I'm not in anywhere now. I had to be out May 31st.
Okay, so it's going to be reconstructed into something
Major renovation,
major. Could be
Major
retail, commercial, or residential.
all residential.
All residential.
First floor, too?
Yeah.
We'll be talking about that next month.
I'm sure parking is going to be an issue.
So no commercial space along? No?
That's not proposed, no.
No? Wow,
Okay.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Randy, you got any questions or comments?
No.
Okay, so I'd like to move. I've already called the first and the second discussion, so I'd like to call for the vote. All those in favor of granting the special permit to Mr. Ouellette, which will impact the move of Just Dance, that he will abide by the conditions that will be attached to the decision.
Well, I think we need to list the conditions before we go any further.
Okay, you got them.
No. I mean, we really haven't talked about conditions. We've talked about plan changes. If you want those plan changes to be conditions, that's fine. And those plan changes would be that the plan has changed so that the Lincoln Street will be the main entrance. You're going to decrease the size of the loading dock to accommodate more parking. Entrance lighting will all be downcast. You'll install a safety berm in the parking lot. You're going to remove the cross-street stairs. Going to add a bathroom on the second floor. Your conveyor belt will be walled in. You're going to put a new ceiling on the second floor, and the vestibule stairway will be reopened and reconditioned.
Those are the conditions I was talking about. If
Okay.
the board members have any other conditions. You have existing lighting,
Yes, yeah,
and it's all downward
it's
and,
all down, yeah,
okay. Snow removal.
we do that. I mean, we handle that ourselves. We have trucks and,
Okay, so you take it away generally?
yeah, no, actually, we've been able to just get it on the side, we side berm it, and it's more than efficient.
Okay, well, there may be a change with the parents of her students coming in. So
Yeah.
you will keep that lot open?
We'll keep the lot open for sure.
Are those plans, do we have those in our file?
I think you had the earlier one, but I'd like to, we need to do a final set for the building department, so.
Condition.
Yep.
A finalized set of plans incorporating
Yes,
the changes,
Yeah.
et cetera,
exactly. Yeah.
submitted to building commissioner. Anything else? That would be good. Are you going to stripe the parking spaces up and down?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I think we have to, yeah.
How about on the Lincoln Street side?
Good question.
There's only two.
Yeah, I don't,
You had to, it's not.
probably not, yeah.
Okay. We got the light, we got parking, we got snow removal. I can't think of anything else at this point. You, Mike,
No.
all set? Okay, then we're all set. I'm gonna call for a vote to approve this with the conditions so noted that Mike read, and the addition of, striping the parking lot, et cetera. So, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Special permit approved.
Very good, thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you.
we'll move forward.
You can relax now.
Yeah, I can breathe.
Yes.
Well, not yet, we have 14 days to write this
And then
decision.
20 days for an appeal.
Yeah.
You have 34 days to
You
hold
got
your
the
breath.
34 days
34
before.
more days.
So you can start planning, though.
Yeah,
I can
yeah, I know that's
working.
That does not mean Mr. Oulette has to have all the work done in 14 days.
Yeah, please.
I can go in the file.
Oh, I do have one question. I should have brought it up, and I brought it up Saturday. I know the meeting's closed, but this is important. ADA requirements. Is it required to be ADA compliant?
Building code enforces the AAB, not the ADA for public space. ADA is for private space, AAB is for public space. So it will be required to be AAB compliant.
And you will discuss that with
Absolutely.
Mr. Oulette.
Mr. Olet's design professional and I will discuss that.
Yeah, and I think the big issue we looked at too, is our discussions on Saturday, is potential cost to the applicant, and, so that's gonna have to be addressed.
There are
between-
avenues for appeal for that as well, if it becomes a burden.
Okay, yeah.
okay.
Okay, so that's, my other question you've already answered, ADA, I had it big enough and I didn't see it. So, that would be, I think we can even, we can go with that. You're gonna work with him, and
Yes.
if
Yep.
it is, that's a
And we'll
code you
get an
have
occupancy
to abide by.
permit without it, so.
Right.
Okay,
Okay, great, thank you very much.
thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, there's no correspondence I have here. So,
Other
there are
than the
no
36 letters I
correspondence?
gave you? Other than the 36 letters I gave you?
Just the ones that I put in this folder.
It's all been addressed.
You have minutes to approve of the site visits?
Can't have your.
There's no signatures, so you can do what you want, but we have to vote on approving this in minutes.
Oh, right. I'd move we accept the minutes as presented.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approved. I'm just gonna put my initials on them.
They're all the same. There's two different.
Okay. So do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Seconded.
So
Okay.
moved.
Any discussion? None, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.